It's essential to be up to date on happenings around you, and to make that easy for you, ladies and gentlemen, we present Freshlight, where we bring fresh newspaper headlines to the limelight. Mondays to Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Watch, like, subscribe, and make sure your notification is activated on our YouTube channel. You can also like and comment on our pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTV and radio.
A pleasant morning. Welcome to Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. It is time for Freshlight. Freshlight, that segment where we will take you through the newspaper headlines, has been published on daily basis. And you know, today not being an exemption, we would still take you through those pages despite the fact that it is festive season. I hope you've not finished your meat over there. Be your brother's keeper. Share the meat and let it get there also. I remain OLUWAFISAYOMI, AJIBOLA. This morning, we'll be coming to you with the Nation newspaper, Daily Trust, Vanguard, and the Punch newspaper. This morning, let's quickly look at what we have on the pages of the newspaper as published today. Okay, the 29th day of the month of June 2023, you have this on the cover pages. On the cover page of the Nation newspaper, Eid al-Kabir, our challenges surmountable, Tinubu assures. Also, you will see EU observers report on result transmission on fear, says INEC. Vehicle owner to pay 1,000 naira yearly for proof of ownership. 9 Fire X8 among 21 commissioners designate. These are, among others, is what you will see on the cover page of the Nation newspaper as published today. Going into the details of the newspaper, let's quickly look at these. Tinubu to Nigerians, let's join ethnic religious rivalries. As Nigerians, okay, let's quickly look at this. The president spoke. Okay, we have issues there. The president spoke at the Dodon Barrack praying ground in Lagos after observing the 2 Rakat prayers to mark the major Islamic celebrations of sacrifice. Reports from across the country indicated a peaceful celebration, except for minor incidents, including the interception of a man with a car laden with explosives on Tuesday by the police in Yobe State. Okay, from the Nation newspaper, you will see Tinubu to Nigerians, let's join ethnic religious rivalries. Also, on the Nation newspaper, you will see Tinubu should strengthen rule of law, reform civil service. The organization, a non-governmental organization, Printing Initiative for Social Development, has urged President Tinubu to strengthen the rule of law and reform the civil service to ensure more success for the administration. The organization noted that the rule of law is an essential ingredient of good governance and a true path to economic and social well-being of the society. To read details of that story, pick up a copy of the Nation newspaper and check out for Tinubu should strengthen rule of law, reform civil service. Also on the Nation newspaper, you will see updated uproar over Governor Adeleke's clash with ex-Senate spokesman at Hill Prayer Ground. There was uproar at Osogbo Hill Prayer Ground on Wednesday when Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke and ex-Senate spokesperson Ajibola Bashiru clashed over seating arrangement. The Nation observed that Bashiru arrived at the Hill Praying Ground located at Okebale around 9:30 a.m. with Muslims and community leaders in a car belonging to the Ashiwaju of Muslim in Yoruba land, Chief Badmus, for 2 rakat congregational prayer. Bashir Though Bashir moved from the seat to the extreme edge of the front row, the chieftain objected and ordered that Bashir should move to the second row, which he refused. Chief Badmus was outside the Eid prayer ground to welcome Adeleke while the altercation was ongoing. To read more about the dramas between the two political office holders, pick up a copy of the Nation newspaper. Uproar over Governor Adeleke's clash with ex-Senate spokesman at Eid prayer ground. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper, let's quickly look at this story as being published this morning. Nigeria gets 500 million naira World Bank facility for women program. The World Bank has approved $500 million for Nigeria to scale up the financing of its women empowerment program. The bank said it okayed the facility because Nigeria for Women program has helped to create economic opportunities for thousands of rural women through the women affinity groups. Nigeria gets $500 million World Bank facility for women program. That is also on the Nation newspaper. Okay, let's also move on to another newspaper, which is the Daily Trust newspaper as published today. On Daily Trust newspaper, you will see FG stops fundings of professional bodies, cancels. Despite outcry over jam, cut-off marks, data shows 140 plus among lowest. How Sokoto famous butcher was killed over alleged blasphemy. How Sokoto famous butcher was killed over alleged blasphemy. hasty economic reforms worsen poverty. That is on Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Let's look at the stories after another. Going into the details, you will see anti-demolition protests break out in Kano. Hundreds of protesters on Monday hit Kano streets to express their displeasure with the ongoing demolition exercise of the state government. Daily Trust reports that the government has pulled down some structures while several others has been marked for demolition. The government premieres its actions on the ground that the land upon which the affected structures were erected were illegally allocated by the immediate past government. Anti-demolition protests break out in Kano. Daily Trust has the details. Okay, there is a follow-up story on that of the skit maker this morning. Skit maker, Trinity guy sent to prison from sexualizing minor. An online skit maker, Abdullahi Maruf, aka Adisa, aka Trinity guy, popularly known for his pranks which have been criticized by some people as being extreme, has been remanded in prison. A magistrate court situated at Yaganku, Ibadan, your state capital, ordered the remand of the content creator over an allegation of sexualizing a minor in one of his skits. Daily Trust had the details of that story. Just pick up a copy of Daily Trust and read. Okay, also on Daily Trust, you will see Obaseki offers automatic employment to LASU's best ever first-class graduates. Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State has offered automatic employment to Ms. Yusuf Aminat, record-setting first-class law graduate of Lagos State University, LASU. With a 5.0 cumulative grade point average CGPA, Yusuf goes into record as the best ever graduate in history of the 40-year-old institution. Obaseki offers automatic employment to LASU's best ever first-class graduate. You can see that also on Daily Trust newspaper. Okay, on Daily Trust newspaper, let's quickly look at these. Showdown looms in Senate over minority leadership seat. Okay, the jostle for the Senate minority leadership seat appears to be creating an easy camp among senators who are members of the opposition parties, following moves by some vested interests to impose leadership on them. In the 10th Senate, the APC has 59 senators, PDP 36, LP8, SDP2, NNPP2, YPP1, and ABGA 1. The four principal positions reserved for the opposition parties in the Senate are Minority Leader, Deputy Minority Leader, Minority Whip, and Deputy Whip. Showdown looms in Senate over Minority Leadership seat. Daily Trust has the details also. Okay, let's move to Vanguard newspaper as published this morning. On Vanguard newspaper, you will see the covers like this. Presidency fire bats at PDP, LP over alleged anti-people policies. Shun ethnic religious rivalry, Tinubu urges Nigerians. We must interrogate SDGs, scholars. Lawsuit performed first non-surgical role in heart repair. And also, Ida Kabir, CDS, Chief of Army Staff, vowed to tackle insecurity. These, among others, are stories on the headlines, on the cover page, of Vanguard newspaper as published this morning. Okay, let's quickly look at the stories one after the other. Hope agenda. Akpabio, governors visit Tinubu, assured president of support. President Bola Tinubu has received the assurance of support from the leadership of the 10th National Assembly and state governors on his renewed Hope agenda. Senate President Godswill Akpabio gave the assurance when he paid the delegations of senators, governors, and captains of the industry paid a Salah courtesy visit on Wednesday in Lagos. The renewed Hope was Tinubu's campaign agenda that touched all aspects of national life, from economy, health, education, and youth empowerment to international relations. Hope agenda. Akpabio, governors visit Tinubu, assured president of support. Okay, also on Vanguard, you will see, be hopeful for greater prosperous nations under Tinubu. Ladoja tells Nigeria, be hopeful of greater prosperous nation under Tinubu. Prominent Ibadan politician Senator Rashidi Ladoja has urged Nigerians to be hopeful of a greater and most prosperous Nigeria under President Bola Tinubu. Ladoja, a former governor of Oyo State, made the appeal on Wednesday at East Ibadan residence while interacting with newsmen after the Eid prayers. The news agency of Nigeria now recalls that both Ladoja and Tinubu were senators on the platform of the Social Democratic Party SDP in the aborted Third Republic. Yes, let's look at this. Okay, be hopeful of greater prosperous nations under Tinubu. Ladoja tells Nigerians. Also on Vanguard newspaper, pray for Akeredolu's quick recovery. Ondo acting governor. Acting governor of Ondo State, Mr. Lucky Ayedatiwa, yesterday urged residents of the state to use the Eid el-Kabir celebrations to pray for the quick recovery of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. Ayedatiwa in his Eid el-Kabir message said, and I quote, "Let us use this special season to pray for the success of this administration and also for Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, that God Almighty might give him a sound mind and sound health to continue the good work he has been doing in our state. I assure you all of our government's commitment towards the maintenance of peace, security of all, and sundry for sustainable development of the state." End of quote. Pray for Akeredolu's quick recovery. Ondo acting governor says this. Yes, that has been published this morning. Labour indict FG over unfair employment practices. It has riders like accuses government of legalizing casualization, outsourcing of workers. Says employers jittery over apprentices membership of union. Details has it that one of the fallout of the just concluded 111th International Labour Congress, ILC, of the International Labour Organization ILO in Geneva, Switzerland, was the adoption of a recommendation on quality apprenticeship as a new labour standard. It is aimed at supporting opportunities for people of all ages to skills, reskilled and upskilled continuously in rapidly changing labour markets. Labour indict FG over unfair employment practices. That is also available on the Vanguard newspaper as published this morning. Okay, let's also look at other pages, other stories on Vanguard this morning. Financial journalist laments Nigerians' indebtedness, challenges reporters. A financial journalist, Dr. Akinolaniyan, has decried Nigerians' rising debt profile, noting that each Nigerian citizen now owes 385,000 naira of the total debt of the country, which stood at 77 trillion in the quarter of 2023. Speaking at the media training organized by a bank in Lagos, he said the new administration has inherited about 77 trillion in debt. Financial journalist laments Nigerians' indebtedness, challenges reporters. That is also on Vanguard newspaper. Okay, let's take the last story on Vanguard newspaper, then we'll move to the Punch newspaper as published this morning. Going to the business page of Vanguard newspaper, you will see CBN limits transactions via contactless payment to 50,000 naira per day. CBN limit transactions via contactless payment to 50,000 naira per day. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has placed a 50,000 naira daily limit on contactless payment either through a bank account or digital wallet. The Apex Bank also limited the amount per transactions to 15,000 naira on contactless payments. The CBN disclosed this yesterday in a circular titled Transaction Limit on Contactless Payment. The circular signed by the Director of Payment System Management Department, CBN, Mr. Musa Jimo, stated that following the issuance of the guidance on contactless payment in Nigeria and in cognizance of the risks associated with contactless payment, the bank hereby defines transactions limit above which verification and authorizations are required. CBN limit transactions via contactless payment to 50,000 naira per day. That is available on the Vanguard newspaper. Moving on to our last newspaper for today, and that is the Punch newspaper. But before we take that Punch newspaper, let's go straight to Punch newspaper. Okay, on the Punch newspaper, you will see Salah, current pains necessary, says Tinubu, governors preach unity. Marketers project 700 naira per litre petrol. 120 billion naira USSD debt won't be cancelled. Telcos tell banks. Nigerian digital infrastructure inadequate for cashless economy. World Bank. Ladoja reject Makinde's planned elevations of high chiefs. These are among the cover stories you will see on Punch newspaper this morning. Quickly giving attention to the leading story. Okay, Salah, current pains necessary, says Tinubu, governors preach unity. President Bola Tinubu and state governors on Wednesday assured Nigerians that the economic pains and hardship they were facing would soon turn to prosperity. They said the current pains were necessary, noting that the people's sacrifices would pave the way for abundance and a better future for the country. Tinubu and the governor spoke in separate statements on the Salah celebrations across the country. Speaking in Lagos shortly after the observation After observing the Eid prayers at the Obalende Muslim prayer ground located near the Dom Barracks, the former seat of power in Lagos, the president said, "We have to make the sacrifice. That is clear, we have to." To read details, pick up a copy of Punch newspaper and you will read, Salah Tinubu preach peace. Okay, there is a sad story breaking on Punch newspaper this morning. Olympian Okorodudu dies. Hospital sees corpse over unpaid 0.6 million naira. Former Nigerian boxer Jeremiah Jerry Okorodudu died at a private hospital in Lawanson, Lagos on Wednesday night after battling with foot ulcer that left him bedridden for weeks, the Punch Metro reports. Okorodudu's wife Adenike confirmed the news of his death to the Punch. However, Adenike said the hospital was not willing to release her husband's corpse until the outstanding 600,000 naira medical bill is paid. He is dead now, but we still need to pay 600,000 naira to get his body out of the hospital, Adenike told the Punch. To read that rather sad story, you pick up a copy of Punch and you could check Olympians Okorodudu dies. Hospital sees corpse over unpaid 0.6 million naira. Okay, let's look at these. Army, Air Chiefs visit troops, demand synergy. The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Vice Marshal Hassan Abubakar, and the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Taurid Lagbaja, have urged troops at the various theaters of operations to work in synergy with other security agencies. They appreciated the troops and their families, particularly the dead and the wounded, for their sacrifices toward ensuring peace and security in Nigeria. The service chief spoke at the combined Eid al-Kabir celebration held for the troops in Maiduguri on Wednesday. Army, Air Chiefs visit troops, demand synergy. Okay, gunmen dead in shooting at U.S. consulate in Saudi. Saudi authorities were investigating Thursday after an assailant and a security guard were killed in an exchange of gunfire outside the U.S. consulate office in Jeddah, in the gateway city for the massive Eid pilgrims taking place in Mecca. The gunmen and an air police security guard both dead after the exchange of the fire outside the consulate on Wednesday evening, officials said, giving no possible motive for the incident. To read details of that attack, pick up a copy of Punch newspaper. Okay, let's quickly look at the Metro page also of Punch newspaper. Eid al-Kabir, Emir of Ilorin warns against idolatry, preaches unity. Eid al-Kabir, Emir of Ilorin warns against idolatry, preaches unity. The Emir of Ilorin and Chairman of the Kwara State Councils of Chiefs, Alhaji Ibrahim Sulu Gambari, has warned residents of the Ilorin Emirate to desist from any acts that are alien to Islamic cultures and traditions. The Emir gave the warning in his Salah message delivered shortly after the 2 Rakat prayer making the 2023 Eid al-Kabir celebrations led by the Imam Imali of Ilorin, Alhaji Abdullahi Abdul Hamid. In this message, the Emir said no idolatry event should be held within the Ilorin Emirate, stressing that organizers of such gatherings should consider any other locations far away from the Ilorin Emirates. Eid al-Kabir, Emir of Ilorin, once against idolatry, preaches unity. Okay, going to the sports column, let's look at this page before we call it a wrap on Freshlight. Okay, let's quickly look at this. Liverpool rival United, PSG for Osimhen. English Premier League giant Liverpool have joined the race for the Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen. The 24-year-old is one of the most coveted players in the world football after scoring 31 goals in 39 games to help Napoli to the Serie A title for the first time in over 3 decades, as well as finishing as league top scorer. Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea are also reportedly interested in the Nigerian. According to Gazetto Sport, the Reds are now prepared to battle these teams to sign the striker, with offers expected in the coming days amid a potentially bidding war. Liverpool rival United, PSG, for Osimhen. On that note, Asel will draw the curtain on Freshlight for this Thursday edition. Do join us again tomorrow, Friday, where we'll be looking at another newspaper. Yes, other newspapers as published tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Do stay tuned to Al-IyamoyeTv and radio, since we have other programs lined up for today for your excitement today. Don't forget, you can join us on YouTube at Al-IyamoyeTv and also on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTv. You will see us there. Subscribe to our content. Yes, click the notification button to see us whenever we are on air. Do enjoy the rest of your day. I remain OLUWAFISAYOMI. AJIBOLA. Good morning.